Morning, brother.
Morning. So guys, this is information for all those people who completed compensation. So this one does not apply. I mean, this does not apply for them. Those who did not, so please make sure you guys join tomorrow's session from 7. So next 2 days you'll have 2-hour sessions. Others can join at 8. Those who have completed compensation. For those who did not complete compensation, so please join at 7 for next 2 days. That's it. So 7 to 9 you have a session. So, and then from Monday you'll have only one session any which way. So that's fine. Okay. 7 o'clock tomorrow, everyone, those who did not start compensation. For 2 days. Just very basic introduction, so it should not be any complex for you to cope up, I would say. Because I came across a guy who said, I don't want to mix both of them. For 2 days, I was like 2 days, so end of the day, it took him 2 months again to start compensation. So I don't want to do that. So any which ways, guys, so tomorrow, those who did not attend compensation, please join at 7. You can ask for the link or anything, so that should be fine.
Good morning, Praveen, everyone. Did you say something? I missed it. Like tomorrow's class is 7 a.m. Is it?
For those who did not attend compensation, from tomorrow and day after, please attend at 7 o'clock, so that you'll have it. We'll have 2 sessions for tomorrow and day after. 7 to 8 and 8 to 9.
Okay, 2 sessions.
And from Monday, you'll have only one session that will be 7 to 8. Okay? Or it might be a bit early as well, 6:30 to 7:30 or 6 to 7, because this is something that I need to work because I'll be at customer site and I might be a bit busy early in the morning itself. So I need to see which time will suit me the best. So I feel 7 would be a bit late for 1 week. We might have it at 6 or 6:30 at the worst case. 6:30 should be fine for 1 week. Then next week afterwards it should be 7, which is our regular schedule. 7 or even 7:30 should be fine. Okay, so that's just an update, admin level updates, I would say. So let's come back to what we're doing yesterday.
Hello, Praveen sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to use the same link or what?
No, you'll get a different link, Bhushan. So you have to log in with that link at 7 and a different link at 8.
8. Okay, fine.
So 8 link would be the same link, this one, right?
8 would be the same link, yes.
7, someone is going to send the new link or?
Yes, someone is going to send the new link if you don't receive it by mid today. So please make sure you send an email to the front office, okay?
Thank you.
I'll be telling them, but please again make sure you guys follow up if you don't receive it. Okay, so we'll come back, guys. So let's manage. So we should go to time off structures. We created a time account type yesterday. What was the time account type that we created yesterday? Vacation July. So no results. So July should come up at least. Not sure if I saved it.
You have created, I think, US July or something. US something. Start with US, I think.
It's not there. I guess I might not have saved it. So let's quickly fill what we did yesterday. So we'll be concentrating more on accruals today. I'd like to show you the whole process once, and then we go in detail about the functionality of each of those rules, what kind of different scenarios that we come across, and how we write them. So let's say I create it monthly. So this is all standard, this is this. So I did not explain you this recalculation field. Let's say if an employee has 20 days of vacation accrual, how would you recalculate for an employee when he becomes a part-time employee, let's say, or a part-time employee has 10 days of vacation, he became a permanent employee, full-time employee. How would it recalculate? That's what this particular thing is used for. So recalculation field is by default we use FTE as a standard. So full-time employment field that we have in job information will serve as a recalculation field. So whatever we create, so this particular recalculation field will recalculate based on your FTE. Okay, so if you have 20 days of vacation, if an employee is working 0.5 FTE, then it becomes 10 days of vacation. So that's what it is used for. So this is only used when you want to make it dynamic. So USA July vacation. Vacation, this is in days. The accrual creation type is recurring. This value is so first of the year it starts. Okay, so we have all these things. So let's start with accrual rule. So what is an accrual rule? Why do we use them? What is the importance of using an accrual rule? So till now what we discussed is the characteristics of your time account type. We just said what kind of units you use, whether you use days or this, whether you have any booking offset or whether you have any time for accrual. So these are the kind of scenarios we have seen till now. But we never said anywhere what is the actual amount of accrual that an employee gets, right? So if an employee is working full-time and let's say if he's eligible for 2 days of vacation in a month, how do we do that? How do we accrue it? That's something that we need to define. Okay, so which we'll do in the accrual rules. So we go and create accrual rules. So this is a rule. Remember, time off heavily uses rules for every functionality. This is important. Here, whatever we're going to put, there are a couple of things called accrual rule parameters. I don't remember the text of it. So you need to put the actual code, exact code for this parameter, and these are standard. Remember, the accrual rule parameters and accrual rule variables are something that's standard. So we go to object and take accrual rule parameters. So I need this code, the exact code, to put it here. Okay, you can also add accrual rule variables. So what you have inside accrual rule variables is certain fields that we can use for calculations. It's not necessary, you might not necessarily use it, but it's always good to put them as parameters so that we can utilize them in our rules. So when is this true? When can an employee accrue an absence? Always true? If you open your handbook, it's always true. Okay, if you look at your time of handbook, it says always true. But it's not. An employee will not always accrue an absence. Why? Because let's say, for example, an employee is on leave of absence, like a long-term leave, unpaid absence. So in that case, usually an employee does not accrue any absences. So what the system does, what your handbook says is usually, it's always true for your the way you write the rules. But I would prefer to put it more specific where you can say, guys, can you please put yourself on mute if you're not talking, because there is a lot of background disturbance. It's Kanchan, sorry. Okay, so what we have to do is you have to go to your employees, employment details, job information, and then you go to employee status is equal to value active always. This is when I would like to write a rule. If an employee is inactive, it doesn't make sense to accrue an absence. Okay, so what we do here is we now have to write a rule. So what is a rule? The requirement for me is if an employee works that month, he should get 2 days of absence. So every month he receives 2 days of absence. So end of the year he will have 24 days of absence. So my vacation rule says I should have create.
Praveen, I missed that bit. Praveen, I missed that bit. What do you say in the conditions? What did you say? If you can please repeat that. Thank you.
So what I am saying here is your success factor standard says it's always true. But I am saying don't put it as always true. Ideal scenario is to put it as employee status equal to active. Because if an employee is on a leave of absence or a long-term absence, then even then system accrues absences. Okay, so if you put this, it will avoid system from accruing absences when he is on leave of absence or unpaid leave or anything. Okay, so then once we have the scenario set, what we do in this rule, accrual rule, is we need to say how many days you accrue. So what is the number of days that you accrue? 2 days a month. 2 days is what we accrue. So for the generating code, always select generate external code for time off. The external code values for each accrual amount would be generated by the system itself. That's what this means. So that the unique number or unique reference is generated by SUCCESSFACTORS. Otherwise we can't manually provide the number, which is ridiculous. So it's always generate external code time off for your external code value. The posting date, when should it post?
Yeah, Praveen, you mean two decimal means you mean to say 2 days per month. That's the accrual total duration of accrual, right?
So decimal is this actually. Decimal allows your point values. So I just put 2. That's 2 days.
2 days per month, right? 2 days per month.
Yes, of course. You need to select it here in your posting unit. If I just leave it as hours, it becomes 2 hours. And it also throws an error because my rule is in days. My time account type is in days, and I'm saying in the rule 2 hours. So which is not so good. And what is the posting date? When do you want to post it to an employee's account? Is it at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month? It's up to the customer usually. So if he says it's end of the month, it's end of the month. If your customer says it's the beginning of the month, it's at the beginning of the month. So then you need to say, you have to go to accrual rule parameters, then you have to say accruable start date or accruable end date, because the frequency here is monthly. So every month you have an accruable start date and accruable end date. First of the month, end of the month, right? So you can take end of the month if it's accruable end date. If it's start of the month, you can put start date of accrual period. So I can take end date, so that as you wish. And then posting type. What is the posting type here? It's an accrual. So you're accruing your absences, and then the posting unit is always better to take from the time account type dot unit. So if you change it there, it changes here as well. So which
What are
makes
the
it
other
easy.
posting type is there?
So you've got manual adjustment, you have absence, you have recalculation, you've got period end processing, and all these values. Any which ways, I'll show you this when we go to employee level. I'm trying to set up the backend so that when we go to the front end, I can explain you the process. Okay, so I just created a basic, this is one of the most basic scenarios that you come across. This is one of the basic scenario, because 2 days a month for everyone, it's the easiest solution for us. Okay, so I have a rule which
Excuse me,
says,
sir.
yes,
Excuse me, sir. So in the base object time account, what were the parameters we had added, sir?
so we added accrual rule parameters and accrual rule variables. Okay, so here we have this rule, and these parameters, as I said, are standard parameters. We have to use them. If at all we would like to use any of these accruable start dates, end dates, booking possible dates, booking up to dates, and all these values, it's preferred to use them always, even if you use them or not. Okay, so what we did now is we created a rule which says if the employee is active, and then post an employee 2 days of vacation. So you need to assign this scenario for our so this is our rule. Okay, so we created the rule now. I save it. So the accrual rule has a wrong code. Why is it? Okay, so one important point, when you put a higher rule, or when you don't maintain a higher rule or a termination rule, what happens is, usually it does not accrue why I'm doing this is to remove the parameters from there. Role variables. Okay, so what I can do here,
Posting date, sir.
changing it. Accrual parameters and say accrual end date. Right, so now I can save it. Okay, so we created a time account, simple stuff which says you will accrue 2 days of vacation every month. Then what we have is, what do you have after time account type? Time type. So this is important. So previously it was only absence, but now we have got attendance as well within time types. That's because of your timesheet functionality being active. So we need to create time types for timesheet, where you can say you're working on a business trip, or you are on a client meeting, or you're traveling, so whatever you want to put. So for all the absence types, it should be absence. Workflow configuration. So this is important. What is a workflow configuration? So if your absence type has to follow a workflow, then you need to assign it here. Okay, so you can assign your time of workflows. So this means your whatever workflow that you create there, it will follow when you apply an absence. When an employee applies an absence, it will trigger this workflow for approval. So that means time of request will go to a manager or HR or someone, whoever you maintain in your workflow configuration.
So is it the standard workflow, Praveen, or you need to configure?
So the workflows is something that you can configure, right? So it's just like how you create any other workflow. Go to manage and job structures, create a workflow, assign it here.
I mean, there is a standard one available, like you can just put and it will go to your manager, employees manager.
This is something that's already created. Since you guys know that how to create a workflow, I just use something that's existing. Otherwise, I have to create a workflow and assign it here. Okay? So this is something that I created previously, so that's why I'm just using it. And can you apply absences in fractions of the day? Yes, no. Yes, let's say for example, I can book it till quarter day. And then leave of absence, if at all you have a time type, when you trigger it, it's in leave of absence. So then it will go and make an employee inactive. So you can say when I apply this absence, if it's a leave of absence thing, then it becomes, the employee becomes, changes the status to unpaid absence or leave of absence, whatever it is. So this is your leave of absence. We don't maintain it here for normal absences. Then the calculations is based on work schedule. That means whether your holidays or time offs or your weekends, is it calculated based on work schedule or calendar days? Is absence calculated based on your work schedule or your calendar days? This is like, for example, you apply an absence from today till Monday. Today is Wednesday, right? So you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. 5 days of absence. But ideally Friday, Saturday, Sunday is off, right? So you should not calculate. So your work schedule says they're off. But if you select calendar days here, all the days will become absences. So instead we select work schedule so that it follows the days that you are working and calculates absences based on your work schedule. And then you got your counting method. This is new. So this is admin workflow. Admin workflow is, let's say for example, if an admin applies an absence on behalf of you. So whether that should trigger a workflow? If yes, to whom is what you assign here in admin workflow configuration. Counting method is new, guys. This is SAP. Come on. This looks like someone created it, if I'm not wrong.
What is this active cancellation workflow?
Sorry, cancellation. If you cancellate a workflow, if you cancel a time off, you cancel, let's say you took an absence, it is approved, and then sometime later you came and said, okay, I don't want to use the absence, you cancel the absence. Whether that should trigger a workflow as well? If yes, select your cancellation workflow. So that will trigger it to the same person who approved it.
Okay.
Praveen, just a question in that where you put that leave of absence, when an employee, if you want to put a condition, an employee is more than 2 months or more than particular working days is on leave of absence, then accrual will stop from that on, thereon. Can you put that rule there? Is there any provision of putting rule, okay, if someone is more than 2 months of leave without pay or unpaid leave, then you stop accruing that particular leave?
I think I need to see how this can be achieved. So maybe what we can do is in the rule condition, it says in the first place, when an employee is in unpaid absence, he won't accrue as the standard scenario. But if
in here is most of the most of the leaves that stop accruing if you are leave without pay more than 90 days. So most of the paid leave or holidays. So
so I'm just thinking how this can be achieved. So the question is, if an employee is on leave of absence for more than 90 days, then only it should stop accruing the absence. Okay? So
it may not be possible.
Maybe possible as well. So the thing is, if an employee status is equal to unpaid leave, okay, it's kind of an OR scenario. If an employee is active and, or another scenario is where in the condition you might say the employee status is unpaid absence and the date effective that you have in the particular record for this status, you might pull it and say if it's less than 90 days then only trigger this rule. So I'm just thinking how this can be achieved. Let's take, we have to try that scenario, Kanchan, I would say.
Sure. Thank you.
Should try that option in the rule. The possible solution that I see is putting a condition on employee status unpaid absence and the number of days in which he is in that particular status. And then regular rule will follow in the logic. Okay, so counting method is new, guys. This is not there before. So, but now it's new. Maybe it's because, I understand why it's because, certain companies might have a condition which will say, so we don't want to count 1 day or whatever. So you have a work schedule, you take the work schedule, you calculate it, or you might calculate calendar days. That means all the public holidays are considered absences, but Saturdays and Sundays are not considered part of it. So that could be a scenario where that could not be achieved using the previous option of having either a work schedule or calendar days. When I select a work schedule, what happens is it takes all the offs away. So that means there is a public holiday, it just ignores. But if you'd like to calculate it based on calendar days, but ignore Saturdays and Sundays, what is the difference between these two? That means all the public holidays are considered under your absence, but not your week offs. Okay, so this is a new one, which is good. So this is not there before. As I said, there are a lot of things coming up, new things. So the next 1 year, the face of this will change completely. So then you have to assign your time account type. So we have our time account type. So then you've got external code. So this is something. This is something that will be displayed in the front end. Sorry? Sorry, it should be days. It will throw an error if it doesn't match. So we created a time type. As I said, time type is used to kind of define the workflows, whether you have permission to take half-day absence or quarter-day absence, or if it's an hourly thing, can you take full hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, so these kind of things. And you have to assign your time account type here. I'll talk about a time type scenario, which is not this one, but a different one now. Like this one is, you have an accrual scenario, you have everything. But let's say you've got an absence type which is like this. So this is United States. Let's say this is time off. Only 4 days for this. And then I don't assign anything. If you look at it, I don't assign anything. I'll simply say compassionately. So it still takes, for example, someone passed away. You don't accrue an absence for that at least, right? Funeral or something which is unforeseen, bereavement leave, compassionate leave. So these are certain leaves where you don't accrue. For example, maternity leave. So these leaves you don't accrue, right? The company won't say every year you get a 90 days of maternity leave accrued. You can enjoy. So it won't say that. Whenever you become a father or a mother, so you have an option to take certain leaves. This is an even bound scenario rather than accrual scenario. For that we don't write any accruals. It's just that we say take the leave. Based on approval, if your manager approves, you take it. But your company says that you cannot apply more than 5 days of compassionate leave. Here, just allowed, it takes it. But your company says, I won't allow an employee to take more than 5 days of compassionate leave, let's say. That means when you try to apply more than 5 days, it should throw an error. Anything below 5 should be fine. Okay? But it's not an accrual. Is it accrual, anyone? No, it's not. It's a condition, that's it. So how we do that is what we'll see. But we'll see what this impact is in the first place. How this particular, without putting any conditions, how can I apply a compassionate leave and what is the impact on my stream? We'll see that. So the last thing is time profile. So in my screen it says time type profile. Ideally it's called time profile. So this is United States again. You got US July profile. USA July profile. So you need to assign your main absence time type. What is the importance of assigning a main absence time type here? So this is the one we just created. So you need to, so time profile, as I said, is time profile is a combination of time types that are eligible for an employee. So we have seen vacation, we have seen compassionate leave. Let's say you create something similar to what we did, like a sick leave or a casual leave, study leave, FMLA, all these different types of leaves that are eligible. And your company says, let's say, all the employees who are executives, let's say, will have eligibility for vacation, casual, sick, and something called as executive leave. Okay? 4 types of absence. Whereas all other employees will have casual, sick, and vacation only. So in this scenario, we have 2 time profiles. One for executives, one for employees. The reason is, a time profile is a combination of time types. So in total you have only 4 time types. Vacation, sick, casual, and executive. 4 leaves. But out of them, 3 are used by both of the people, but 1 is used by executives only. In this scenario, what happens is we create a time profile for regular employees where we put vacation, sick and casual, whereas for executives, we create a different time profile where we put vacation, sick, casual and executive, 4 leaves for them and 3 leaves for them. So that's what a time profile is. A time profile is the one that you ultimately assign to people. So whatever we did till now, employees won't see. So they only see the time profile in the data. You see a time profile assigned to them. So based on the time profile, the data will populate for them. Okay? Is that clear, everyone? So now, look at this one. This is important. So you've got enabled in ESS scenario. What does that mean? So when I say S here, an employee will see this in his front end. He can see this particular time type available in the front end. Let's say for example, there is a leave which is called as, maybe take maternity leave or maybe paternity leave. You can simply go and say apply maternity and then go on maternity. You can't do that at least. So what you have is you have a process, you raise it a case to your admin, and your admin once takes all the approvals from managers and everyone, verifies your documents, then he says okay, you can go on maternity and he updates the maternity leave. So in that case, employee will not have access to maternity leave to apply. So we say no here in ESS scenario. So we don't give permission for employee to maintain it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll say compassionate leave. And maybe I'll also apply one more for US so that
Praveen, as you just said that
I'll just give this 2 for employee and I'll put no for this one. And sorry, someone saying something?
Praveen Bhavani here. I just said that we can assign different profiles to different set of employees. So where here in the time type profile, where exactly we assign the that specific set of employees, group of
No,
employees?
this has to be assigned at the employee level. We don't say this employee subgroup is eligible for this or something, because as I said, it works a bit different. You have to create profiles and assign it at an employee level.
Okay.
You directly assign it. There is no standard rule which defaults time profile.
So for each employee we need to assign a different time profile.
Yes, if it's different, yes, it's different. If it's, let's say one set of employees will have a time profile effective today, so you can use an import file, import the data with that time profile.
Okay.
Okay, so I created 3 here.
Praveen, Manoj here.
Yes.
Praveen, is a question here before. See, for example, we have paternity and maternity leave, right? So is it we can restrict in a gender level? So example, paternity will not eligible for female employees, and how that will be restricted?
Yes, we can. We can restrict it. We can throw an error saying, okay, you're not eligible for this. If you don't want to, if you don't want an employee to see that, if you don't want an employee to see that, then it's a different time profile.
Yes.
You have to create a different time profile for all the male population, all the female population should have a different time. So that's the only option. But if you make it available, but if an employee, if let's say if a guy goes and tries to apply maternity leave, then it should throw an error. That's possible. If you don't want to separate the time profiles but put everything in one profile and assign, then only option we have is to validate whether you are eligible for that or not, but not restrict which time type is valid. That we can't say. That comes from the time profile itself. If you want to assign different time profiles, please assign different time profiles.
So in the rule we will write, right? The rule we will write.
We'll go there. I'm at to show that part.
Okay, fine.
That's something that I explained about compassionate, where I said you are eligible only for 5 days. But I did not say anywhere that it's eligible for 5 days. So I'm just showing you what happens if I don't do that, and then how you make this possible. Okay. So now, if you look at it, our favorite time type. So this favorite time type is will be shown as a value in the front end, highlighted. I'll show you. Now, it will display. I'll show you what it is, how it works. So this one will be highlighted in a box. So let's go to an employee now. So I created all the data. So we have a time profile for USA. So we'll use this one. Any US employee who is clean. So yes, everything is linked to this one, and this one is assigned to an employee. So we take this guy. I never saw this guy before, so hope he should be good. I go to employees, employment information. Man will die in this room, man. Okay, so if you look at this here, what I can do is so you have to go to time profile, the bottom. What is our holiday calendar? We have only July. Take something that you can take, okay, log schedule is fine. Then you put our time profile, the July profile. Time recording profile is for timesheet functionality, which we'll see later. I save it. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of options that we usually have to see the employee's time data. So as an employee, I'll be having an access to something called as time off screen. Okay, in the public profile, there is a tab which says time off. That's where I have to go and see the employees. As an employee, my time data. So I go to employee profile and then go to time off. So this time off section, okay, it's not working, which is okay. What we have to do, then that's something that we did not do. I actually wanted to show it first before I do it, but it's throwing an error. Let's see an employee for whom time works. Okay. So if you look at this employee here, this is how it looks for an employee. So what we need to do is, these are your time types that we assign. So this is, these are favorites. The ones that you see here are the favorite time types. There are up to 3 favorite time types available. All others will be displayed here. So when they can, if you want to apply this one, simply apply. Absence type, yep. So if you, some problem with this, so you just select it.
These are absence types, Praveen? And then
Yeah, these are the time types of the absence type we just created, like vacation, sick, casual leave, privileged leaves. So let's say I want to select it. So when you put the main time type, if you remember, the heck? Okay, so if you go to employee files, go to time off. So the main time type option that we had when we creating the time type, time profile, you remember? So when I select something, by default it takes the main time type. Whereas I have an option to manually change it from, so it's easy. So I can choose them from favorites. I can also choose them from here. Okay? So this is how you define your time types. Let's say this is how you apply an absence. Okay, I'm applying an absence. Why is it says none? Okay, so there is no approval defined, so it's simply acquired. So when I go and put it as of 31st or 1st, you should see 2 days getting reduced here, because these days are already taken by then. Since it's today, as of today, it's 7 days. Okay? So this is how an employee applies an absence. As an admin, I also have access to his time data. So where do I go and maintain it? Where do I go and maintain it? First, to go to his profile. So as an admin, I have a different option where I see something called as manage time off. So this manage time off section is for an admin or a manager to view his data from an admin perspective. So as an admin, I'll go here to his manage time off section, and what I can do here is I can request time off on his behalf like this. So I'm applying absence on behalf of Alan Chin. Okay, and you can see the time of accounts overview here. You can see all the time of time types that you have, what is the earned absence, what is the taken out of them, what is planned, and when is the booking possible till date. So if an employee, that's what you saw there, right? So the number of days, but you also have an option. The number itself talks about the dates available, but if you would like to see one more view, there is one more view which I can show you. So when you go to this employee as himself and sees his screen, so you see 24 days of absence, this one. But if you would like to see the similar view, just click on this information, you see the data here. Like what is the overall number of earned days taken, and what is the balance, what is the plan, all this data is available. This is an employee view. And you can also view his team calendar showing who is absent in the next few days. Okay? So this is what an employee can see. But as an administrator, I've got more privileges to do more based on what we choose in the time profile. I choose favorite time type. So when I go to Alan Chin and go to manage time off, so you can see the values here. You can also project the values till whatever time frame that you would like to. Let's say if I want to project it till the last day, so it shows the days as per that particular day. If there is a configuration that says monthly accrual, it's not a monthly accrual. If you see, it's one time, all of them are one time, which is wrong, but that's okay, just for our understanding. So here, as an admin, I can also make an adjustment where I can add, let's say, number of days to it for this time account. If you look at it, I can add and remove to a particular time account. I can change the time account types here. I can make adjustments. Let's say I can add 10 days for this employee for NH leave. So I added 10 days, so it shows 24, right? So what I can do here, I cannot delete it anymore. Only thing that I can do is I can deduct 10 days. So this will be recorded. Everything will be recorded, which is not so good. Right, so how can I kind of delete this? I can make modifications, not hiding, delete permanently. I can make modifications to this data. So this is a time account type of this employee. There's a unique ID. You remember, generate external code time off. For each of the time account, system generates a unique ID for an employee, and this is what that ID is. So this data I can go and access from the backend as well as a super admin now. That was previously as an HR. Now this is more of an system administrator. What I can do is I can go to time of structures again. So I can go to time of structures. So I can go to time account, and then give this code here. It will give you. So here you can see that we have did a manual adjustment, delete it, save it. You can also add, remove whatever you want to. For example, if I would like to add an accrual of, let's say, 5 days, I can do that. You can do any modifications on the backend for your admin, as an admin, to his time account. He doesn't even know who made the change and everything, because this will be done in the account directly from backend. This is at a config level. So I can show you his data now as an Alan Chin. I'll just go and show employment information, manage time off. So this was this one, you don't see any, right? So this is how it's working. So this is how you navigate around. But why don't we see our employee, the one that we assigned, Alan Lake? We don't see that because we did not complete our process. So as I said, we only worked on time of structures. But as I told you, if at all you have to start creating accruals, or if at all in the first place, what you have to do is once you have all the time profiles and everything created, you need to activate them at a user level. So you need to create the accounts, and did not create any accounts till now, right? So what I have to do is first do an account creation. I'll just delete all of them. You don't do it in real time, okay? I'm just deleting it. This is a test instance. So I'm creating the one. So you have to do it from a time account perspective, time account type perspective, not time profile. So you have to do it for all the three. So this is something that we have. Account creation. USA, July, vacation. So you can, even though I choose it for the, it's better you always choose it on a yearly basis. Okay, so you have to create this and then run. Similarly, create it for compassionate, okay, we don't need it because it's not, we don't have any accrual scenarios for that, right? Sorry, you don't need it because we don't have any accrual scenarios for that. The other one, compassionate, is just a time type that we created without any accrual scenario. So we go to time of calendars again. You see this is finished. So it does not create any time account. This is wrong. Did not create any time accounts. This is wrong. But we'll see that, don't worry. So this actually runs on a monthly basis. I understand why that did not work actually. So the employee is hired this year, and once I created an account, so it is starting 01. So the employee is hired in between. So we need to put a higher rule for him to get that triggered. So now we created for the whole year. If you see this, it is auto-scheduled. So calendars are auto-scheduled for the future dates. So what happens is system runs the calendar, the accrual run by itself. You don't need to go and say every month run the calendar. When we started, it was that way. I have to go and run manually every time. But now you don't need to because system can run it by itself. So I'm running it for the month of July. So we're running it for the month of July. July or June, sorry. So running.
So whatever profiles we created, that should be activated.
Yes, what are the profiles that we created? What do you mean, sorry?
That should be activated.
Yeah, of course I should be active, yes.
These quota corrections, whatever we changed, modified from 5 days to 10 days involved, I want to do it in a parallel.
Naveen,
You mean to say you want to run
Out of 1,000 employees, needs to be
import?
import.
There's an import. You can export all the employees and then because MDF, all of them are built on MDF if you look at it. So anything in MDF can be exported and imported. Sorry, someone had a question?
Praveen Kanchan here. You say the time profile when you created, then you cannot allocate the time profile to the employee because you manually picked up the time type and allocated to the employee just now. Like
No, I assigned time profile to him. Okay.
time profile, one time profile we created, right? You created which has 3 different type of absence, 3 different type of leave there. So if we allocate that time profile, automatically it should pick up all
of them will be, yeah, of course, all of them will be created for them.
Yeah.
So you see that one accrual is created because this is let me explain. So this is working now. So Alan Hake, right? So this is a person for whom I assigned this and 2 days is created. So now we'll go to employee. Let me show you the process. Kanchan, maybe you might understand. So I'm going to Alan H. Lake. So you got a time off for this employee. So you should see who?
These are not paid sick, right?
Sorry?
Unless in
No, it's Alan Hatchlake. Why is it throwing an error? Okay. No, sorry, no, it's right. I don't know why it's throwing an error. As an admin, don't go to time off for an employee, it throws an error. So for this month, it's run, so end of the month it runs, so that's why it shows 2 days earned after this date. Okay, so maybe you can also do a projection. Then it shows whatever you have. So this employee has only one type of absence that we see, but I can also request time off for this employee. There's something that is wrong, but maybe I use some wrong time type. I use something that we did not create, you remember? I feel there could be a problem with that.
Can we use the one you created, that profile you created, allocate that profile?
I exactly assigned the same time profile, but within that, I just assigned one time type that we did not create, just to show you how an admin can create.
You picked up from someone else, that one, yeah.
Right. So I feel there could be some problem with that, especially this maternity one that you see. Could be.
Probably remove that one and keep just the one you created.
Okay. Just give me a couple of minutes, we'll try to fix this now. I see the issue. So from a backend perspective, it's actually working fine because I see the log and it's getting created, which is cool, which is good. The only thing that we need to make sure is why it's not allowing an employee. Apply an absence. So view the screen. It's good now. So this is good now. So we'll quickly go back and run the calendar for the month of June so that we can see some number. Time of calendar. I'll just run for the month of June so that you know it's just run it, and then I'll just go proxy this and then fetch make.
So where did you click to run that? I cannot see your cursor. Did you click somewhere? No?
I just say take action and run.
Okay.
So there is a tab which says take action, right? So you just need to run it by going there. So okay, what corrections I made? So because this is important as well. You see some weird error message coming. So what did we do to fix it? Previously we could not see this. The problem is I used something created by our folks, thinking it might work. So I just have to remove all of them and use the ones that I created till now. So that's why it's working. So I just assigned a work schedule that I created, a time profile that I created, and all those things. So that's why it's fine. So if we look at it, so we have a calendar which we created. So it shows Martin Luther King's Day. This is a holiday. And we created a half-day holiday. This is for Gauri that we did. Right? So this is a half-day. And we have got a National Freedom Day. So this is how you see your calendars. And also we have 2 days of accrual as of today. And if you go till here, you see 4 days. And I'm not sure if this simulation is set to active or not, but it's not active. So if I set this to active, you will see whatever could be the projected value for the employee. This is only showing actuals. So this is a favorite time type. When you don't have a favorite time type, it will be shown here in the right next to it. So we'll try to play around a few more rules and a few more types of absences tomorrow. There are at least 4 scenarios that I would like to discuss tomorrow. One we have seen, the one which is basic. The next one is what happens if the amount of absence changes based on employee or some condition. Like let's say for example, if employee's job code or job level, or it could be based on a location or a division or anything. How does it change? Or let's say for example, if the vacation accrual changes based on seniority of the employee, how does it change? So if you are having experience from 0 to 3 years, let's say you get 2 days of absence every month. And if you have 3 to 5 or let's say 3 to 7, you get 2.2. And let's say if you have 7 to 15 years of experience, let's say you get 2.5 days of absence every month. So how do you change the scenarios? How does the rules work? And then we go to that scenario where it doesn't allow you to take more than 5 days of absence in a stretch. Okay, so that's something that we'll try to set up. So these are the 4 scenarios that I would like to do tomorrow before we do something else. Okay, so everyone, please make sure those who did not complete compensation join the session at 7. And those who did not either enroll for compensation or who completed compensation can join at 8 regularly. Okay, so thanks everyone. You guys have a good day. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin, and have a good day, everyone.
Bye bye.